What's up, peoples? It's your boy Gideon Gaming. I'm here to talk to y'all today about Nintendo. We got a lot of Nintendo fanboys, but man, it's a lot. And fanboys in general are terrible. But today I'm going to talk about Nintendo, and then I'm going to talk about their fanboys, alright? Nintendo is one of those companies that gaming is what it is today because of. I would say they single-handedly saved gaming in its biggest market. The Nintendo NES popped up. This console revolutionized things. That's the best way to put it. Completely revolutionized gaming. It was incredible. They followed it up with the Super Nintendo and just took everything they did with the regular Nintendo and elevated it. It was mind-boggling. It was epic. I loved it. Then they took it a step further. What they did next was they decided to make a CD attachment. But then they changed their mind and went with the N64. Now, this was the first of their consoles that was problematic. Problematic in the sense that it was powerful, more powerful than the competition, but it was one thing that stifled it. It still used cartridges in a CD state of mind, in a CD gaming time. Sony was able to get exclusives that were Nintendo because they had the CD-ROM format, which could hold a lot more data than a cartridge. Like, look at Resident Evil on N64, that was trash. But Nintendo persevered and they still managed to work with what they had. But the thing is, they still had some third party as well. But the thing with Nintendo is, they weren't growing with their fan base. Now, games like Super Mario Brothers, Yoshi, that's great when you're 12, 13, 10, 8, but as you grow up, you will eventually want something that caters to you and your playstyle, and your maturity level. And Nintendo focuses on children. Let's be honest, anyone that tells you they do not is a liar. You look at Splatoon. You're a kid now. You're a squid now. Really? You can look at that and tell that that's tailored towards children. That isn't made for adults. The gameplay mechanics may be great. Donkey Kong Country, gameplay mechanics may be great. But they're not targeting adults. They're targeting children. That's who they tailor their games towards. Then after the N64 with that horrible CD drive, they decided, well, we're going to go disc this time. And they went with the GameCube. GameCube was more powerful than the PlayStation 2. Not as powerful as the Xbox. But the problem with the GameCube is a standard PlayStation 2 disc holds 4.7 gigs, 8.5 on a double layer. A standard Nintendo GameCube disc held 1.4 or 1.7 gigabytes. Not even half. So this leaves games requiring double disc or even more just to fit what should have been on a regular disc. And it also meant that the GameCube cannot play DVDs, which was big at the time. That was the popular format. It was the best format available in this pre-high definition times. But Nintendo shunned it. Nintendo is stubborn. They're like that old relative that is so old they do things their way. It refuses to change, even if it's for the better. I don't understand that. You decide not to grow with your market. So the GameCube comes out, it's limited. There's no reason it shouldn't have played Blu-ray. There's no reason, DVDs, I'm sorry. There's no reason it shouldn't have been able to play CDs. There's no reason it shouldn't have used a standard DVD disc. The only reason is Nintendo had their heads up their butts. Period. So, but the GameCube still ended up being a pretty good console. I had my PlayStation 2 and my Xbox to play movies with. So, I got along, I managed. Then they came with the Wii. This is when they started to lose their way even more, to veer the course. They focused on the motion control gimmick. And don't get me wrong, the original Wii was a lot of fun for the first 3 months. The original Wii was a lot of fun, and it had a few really great games on it. It sold like hotcakes. It sold quicker than crack. Half price crack in the hood. It sold. And that was great. I was happy to see Nintendo on top of things, such a company that resurrected gaming. They deserved that. After the video game crash, Nintendo was the only company that was trying to bring this back. So I give it to them. I'm like, okay, Nintendo, you're out here, you're making your success. More power to you. I have nothing but love for you. But they weren't catering to the hardcore gamers. They were catering more so to casual gamers. A casual gamer is not about what games you play. It's about how often you play. It's about people who you might play an hour or so once or twice a week and then you let it go. It's not that serious. You can take it or leave it. You pick it up and play. Casual gamers tend to like things like mini games. Something they can pick up, play, and enjoy it while they're playing it, and then put it down and not have to worry about getting through something. That's the type of game casuals tend to enjoy playing. They focus on those casuals with the Wii. The Wii still couldn't play a DVD. Had a full-size disc, but it was still another proprietary format. Nintendo, why? Why? Just use a standard format. There was no reason we couldn't have did that. Of course, homebrew on the Wii was incredible. All these emulators that I ran on the Wii, it was excellent. So they did this and it sold like crazy. Over 100 million consoles. It was their best-selling console of all time. Only console that really beat it was the PlayStation 2. So then they come out with the Wii U. They're expecting to duplicate that Wii success. Now, I will say with the Wii is the console that should have been released in place of the GameCube. Forget the GameCube, put out the Wii. Period. Because the Wii is basically a GameCube with a repackaged controller. The specs were weak. The specs were closer to GameCube than they were Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3. They lost it. Third party basically abandoned them because even though they sold all these units, people weren't buying software. It came with Wii Sports. Once the casual people had Wii Sports, why do they need a Wii? Why would they want to buy any other games for it? They have what they want, and they're going to play that game, and they're going to love that game. So that's the issue there. So then they released the Wii U, and they expect to recapitalize on that casual market. But they're still coming out with games tailored towards children, and they're wondering why their sales were not there. I'm going to explain why. Gamers grew up. A 35-year-old man like myself is not interested in playing a bunch of little kid games. I'm just not. It's not because, you're using gaming to gauge your maturity. No, it's not about that at all. A mature person just is not drawn to such kiddie things. If you are, something is wrong with you. And that's just it. Nintendo did not grow up with the fan base. The fan base has grown. You see how Sony just came in and just took it over from Nintendo because they cater to all markets. There are adult titles, there are kid titles. There's titles for anyone in Sony's library. Not just one and two, there are plenty. You dig through Sony's library, there are plenty of titles. Nintendo came in with the Wii U, and a lot of people thought it was an attachment for the Wii or an upgrade when they hear Wii U. People are like, nah, I don't need it. And then the people who did know it was a new console, they didn't see the motion control. And they felt like, I don't need it. They didn't want it. That's why the Wii U struggled to sell, because nobody wants it anymore. Nintendo didn't market it right. They put out too many kids games and not enough mature theme games. That's just it. You put out Bayonetta 2. That was excellent. Some of you RPG gamers love that. Xenoblade. Personally, I can't get into it. I found it to be total crap and boring. But, that's different people like different things. I don't do RPGs. But they keep putting, they'll sprinkle a little adult title here and there, but then they go back to focusing on kids games. Parents, I used to work at Walmart. Parents would just come in and buy their kids a Wii U, buy them a Wii U, wouldn't buy anything else. And they'll buy themselves a PlayStation 4 or 3 or anything else, PlayStation or Xbox. It was for the parents. But that Nintendo, that was for the kids. Nintendo's like Wu-Tang. Nintendo is for the children, like ODB said. But the Wii U just failed. They're still doing the proprietary crap. This time they forced this big old tablet. It's a nice idea. The gamepad is actually a pretty good idea, but it was grossly underpowered. It's the console that should have been released when the Wii was released. Nintendo is releasing hardware a generation behind. The GameCube should not have been released. The Wii should have been released in its place. The Wii should not have been released, and the Wii U should have been released in its place. And whatever the next console, the Switch, this is not looking good at all. It really isn't. But Switch looks like crap. Why, as a grown man, would I need one? Now, if I caught the train or the bus, I could use that, but I drive everywhere I go. So why would I need that? The Switch is useless to me. I see no reason to buy one. And of course, there's going to be a bunch of grown man children that are going to come on this video, bash and attack. It is what it is. That's your opinion. You're going to get mad at my opinion. I don't care. You don't like it, dislike the video. You like it, like the video. That's all I'm going to say about that. And it is what it is. Now, with the history of Nintendo said, Nintendo fanboys have to be the absolute worst fanboys. No, I take that back. The Nintendo fanboys are the second worst. Xbox fanboys will always be the worst. And that's another video. But Nintendo fanboys are close. These guys will talk about Nintendo this, Nintendo that. Oh, Nintendo, Zelda. Have Zelda posters on their wall. Grown men. Something's wrong with that. Let your kids have kid stuff. It's time for you to move on, people. I understand some of you are nostalgic, and I can see going back and playing some of the old games that you used to play as a child. It could be pretty good. But at what point do you just say, I don't want to play this? Why would I? At what point? That's what I want to know. Nintendo, you can take over the gaming industry again. You can do it. First, abandon that Switch crap. Let the Switch go. The idea is garbage. Give us a powerful console. What you put out should in no way, shape, or form be any less powerful than a PlayStation 4 Pro. It should be more powerful, or you should just not waste your time coming out with it at all. It's a load of crap. Let it go. That's just the truth. Let it go. Put it to rest. Come with something powerful. Give adult gamers some IPs. I'm not saying stop making children's games. Keep making your kid games. Keep making them, but switch it up. If you come out with 5 games targeting children, come with 5 more for the parents so everybody can enjoy the console. Market that console. Create an online network that works. Period. Make it work. Don't charge for it, but make it work. Then you can start to bring some people over. Do cross-play with PC gamers. Then you can try to bring some people over. Then you can convince more people to buy your platform. But you have to give us a real console with a great controller. Better yet, if you create a USB port and allow us to use whatever controller, that would actually be even better. But I digress. I don't expect you to do that. That's too much good. And you need to secure some third-party things. While your exclusives are, holding you down pretty great. I wouldn't say they're great. Some of them are. You need third-party as well. Why does Nintendo seem to not want to compete? Why do they not want to be the best again? It's sad to see a company that has accomplished such greatness regress into such an abyss. It's pretty bad how they just fallen. It just took a major nosedive. I see Nintendo and I'm like, whatever. I used to be the biggest Nintendo fan. Nintendo was so synonymous with gaming. It doesn't matter if you're playing a Genesis, Super Nintendo, a Saturn. People say, oh, you in there playing Nintendo. They always playing Nintendo. Now you always playing that Xbox. Now you playing that PlayStation. People will associate those brands. Nobody says playing Nintendo anymore because Nintendo has lost their way. Nintendo, I need y'all to come back. I need you to come back. I need you to target your original gamers, the people who have jobs, the people who are buying your platform. I need you to target them. I don't want to sit around and play some little handheld. I'm grown. I don't have time to play it. And when I'm home, I don't want to play on that little screen. I want to play on the big screen, but I want some power. I want some oomph. Not no 4 gigs of RAM when the consoles that are out already have 8. Nintendo, stop it. Stop being cocky. Stop being conceited. Fix your stuff. I was going to say something else, but I won't even say it. Fix your product. Also, stop being a dick to your users. People who stream your gameplay, offering you free advertising, and you want to hit them with copyright strikes. You want to strike them down. The few fans that you do have left, you want to be a dick to them. Nintendo, you can go for that. Stop that. Yes, you have a right to do so, but you don't see Sony or Microsoft suing their fan base for streaming gameplay from games that they purchased legitimately, I might add. You don't see that, but you see it with Nintendo. Nintendo, why are you doing this? Do you want to alienate the last few fans that you have left? Let that go. But anyway, this is your boy Gideon Alvin White. I'm out of here. Peace. This is Gideon Gaming. Hit that like button. Hit that dislike if you're a Nintendo fanboy. And I just raised your blood pressure with all that sodium you just got in your system. Like and subscribe otherwise. All right? I love y'all. Peace.